Hey friends, it's your pal Mike Shea from Sly Flourish, here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy GM Prep. In this show, I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday role-playing game. In this case, I am running Scarlet Citadel by Kobold Press. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. Patrons get access to the City of Arches sourcebook, Uncovered Secrets Volume 1 and 2, a dedicated Discord channel, the monthly Q&A, and a whole lot more. But most of all, they help me put on shows like this. To the patrons of Sly Flourish, thank you so much for your support. We have had a couple of weeks off from Scarlet Citadel. Summer has been rough. Summer's been rough for scheduling games overall. I have 3 kind of regular games that I run, and 2 of the 3 have had multiple sessions that could not come in place because people are traveling, people are going off with family on various vacations. I think a lot of people, I don't know if it's like kind of a post-COVID, people are finally getting back to a normal schedule of going on vacations and traveling and stuff like that, but it has been hard to get my games going. So for the Scarlet Citadel group, we've actually missed 2 sessions. We had 1 session off, then 1 session, then missed 2 sessions, and now we're back on again. So it's actually been quite a gap. We did manage, I thought last week we weren't going to have enough people to run Scarlet Citadel, and then it turned out we had plenty. I think we had 6. We had 1 guest show up for the game, and instead of running Scarlet Citadel, we ran Shadow Dark RPG, a gauntlet, a Shadow Dark RPG 0-level gauntlet. That was really fun. And I have videos for all of that. If you look on the YouTube channel or you go back through previous podcasts, you can see that there are some Shadow Dark. I think there's going to be 3 different Shadow Dark shows where I talk about a deep dive on the Shadow Dark RPG itself, a prep session for prepping the Shadow Dark gauntlet, and a aftermath. How did it actually go? What were our experiences? What did we learn? So that was really... Those were 3 fun shows, and it was really fun to run. So I was very happy to do that. But I'm also happy to get back to Scarlet Citadel. Although honestly, between us, I am looking forward to Scarlet Citadel. I'm looking forward to the conclusion of Scarlet Citadel. I think we all are. I think my players are too. I did a little bit of kind of informal polling on like how people feel about it, and I definitely don't think my players are having as much fun with Scarlet Citadel as they have in other campaigns that I've run. I think we have run the mega dungeon, as far as we want to run it. And even though there's been a lot of interesting things, a lot of changes, a lot of dynamics, a lot of fun events, I don't think they regret it. And we've had a good time. But compared to like my Eberron game, compared to, the Numenera, I bet they enjoyed this more than they enjoyed Numenera. I have a feeling, certainly later. But I think the story of Numenera was definitely a lot better. So I think that I think we're all kind of eager to move away from Scarlet Citadel, which means it's probably time to push things forward. So we're going to talk a little bit about pushing things forward. So let's take a look at what happened in the last session. So the last time, June 25th, I had a session. Did we play? Yes, we actually played this session. Good. Okay. Sometimes I have prep notes where I hadn't played. So last time let's see, the strong start was the attack of the Wraiths of Lagfell. So they were releasing the River King. That's right. This is what happened last time. They were releasing the River King. And in doing so, we're fighting the Wraiths of Lagfell, Lagfell is a lich. So they had to, this goes back. So we ran a session after this, I think, in which they battled. This is funny. I think I have notes older than this because they did all of this. So, we'll catch up. So they released an entity known as the River King, which was an eternal enemy of a lich named Lagfell, who was originally a follower of Charon, but then became a follower of Vardazane, the god of the ghouls. And the characters released the River King, then went to the Mushroom Grove, had a long rest, then went back to fight Lagfell and found Lagfell wounded, but the River King is destroyed because they waited an entire day to fight the River King. And now I remember, right? And we had a whole conversation about how the characters essentially sent an enemy after another enemy, but then waited an entire day, which would have been enough time for the Lich to fully recover after the battle. But I was like, that's a little lame. So I let the Lich be a little bit more wounded, burned her top level spells. And they fought her and beat her, and it was really hard. But then right at the end, her phylactery, which was the chain thing, a super powerful, otherworldly, other like undead entity came. And they fought the chain thing, and it kicked a lot of ass, but they killed it too. And when they did, that destroyed Lagfell. So then they said, okay, wow, well, we're wounded, we're beat up. What do we know that we need to go get the third icosahedron. We know that the Shoggoth is the last remaining entity we have to destroy in order to free the third icosahedron. But why don't we teleport out and have a rest at Red Tower. And then I had to sit back and think like, well, I know that Gellert the Gruesome, basically the boss of Scarlet Citadel, the guy who started all of this. I had this fun little thing where when they were going down to level 5, he was fleeing. He was running away because he had released something down below that's far worse than he had imagined. He's like, I got to get the hell out of here. And he left. And I was thinking about like, I kind of wanted to bring him back in, but I wasn't sure how that was going to play out. And then I had this idea when they said they wanted to teleport back out. And I was like, And then I thought, like, wouldn't it be interesting? Their teleportation spot is a hidden temple to the Weird Weaver, which is actually underneath the Temple of Cores in Red Tower. That there was a secret temple buried underneath the ground called the Temple of the Weird Weaver. And that has been kind of their secret base, the character's secret base. But 2 of the 4 icosahedrons are there. 2 of the other 4 icosahedrons. The third is still not there yet. And my thought was, what if Gellert found out? What if he could, because he's kind of in tune with these things. He kind of built them, right? These anchors are his. He would know where they are. And if he like went back to Red Tower, he was like, I'm fleeing. I'm going to go to Red Tower. I'm going to buy all my crap and I'm going to get the hell out of town. And then when this entire region becomes the wasted crossroads, I'm going to be somewhere else. But then he goes back and then he feels them and he's like, they're here. And then he like goes around and he digs around in the Temple of Cores and he finds the secret thing and he goes down there and he confronts the character's sort of caretaker of the orbs, who is there, you know, an NPC that nobody remembers. I barely remember them. The characters don't remember them. And then he's like, I need to get those icosahedrons back because I can use the power from that and I can go down and seal up this thing that I've done, maybe. So he goes down there to do that. And then the characters teleport in because they teleport back in. So at the end of the last session, they teleported to their lair and they see the character's name is, where's the NPC? Timon. So Timon was the follower of the Weird Weaver who was down there. And Timon is like beat up and wounded and kind of off to the side, like his hand is frozen because Gellert the Gruesome did something to him. And they turn and there's Gellert the Gruesome. He's like, oh, it's you. Like, you came back here? By the way, Gellert the Gruesome's archetype is evil Doc Brown with a little bit of Jim Ignatowski from Taxi Driver, Christopher Lloyd, essentially. But a little bit of Jim Ignatowski, a little bit of Doc Brown from Back to the Future, only evil and powerful. So he's like, well, you came back. And his whole thing is like, I'm going to take those icosahedrons and I'm going to go down there. And the character's like, you're not taking our icosahedrons. First of all, you're the one that caused all this crap. We don't want you doing that. And he's like, yeah, but I'm the only one who can. Like, you know, I'm powerful. And they had this really interesting conversation with him about luck and randomness. They were trying to explain to him luck and randomness. And he's like, I make my own luck. There is no luck. Like, there's only what we take with power and strength. And they're like, no, that's not how it works. It's totally luck. He's like, no, there isn't. Like, you know, it's only fools think that just the fates are what guide them. But for me, I know I am in control of my life, which of course is a totally idiotic way of thinking about it. But I like that he thinks that way, right? He's kind of the egotist that thinks he controls everything. And so they started to have a conversation with him and he was like, I got to go. And so I started with him like doing hostile stuff, but I heard the players say, we still want to talk to him. So I think we're going to start with sort of his power growing and we'll see, but like, it's going to be hard for them to not battle Gellert, but they might have part of the conversation, then might have a fight and then end the conversation on the assumption that they defeat him. So we have a good, strong start today. And we will generate a new session planning template. Oh, this is why I'm an idiot. So I went to the June, but we have the July 9th was the last game that we've had. And this is one where they fought the chain thing. They got the soul back and, you know, lots of other things that occurred. So that's what happened in the last session. So now we are going to create our session planning template for the next session here. This is for 3rd July, Sunday, Scarlet Citadel. We have our characters. So Bart cannot make it. So we have Dorn Greycastle. Dorn is a shade fighter sorcerer, former adventurer whose body has been slowly decayed. He now has the face of a dwarven woman, the body of a tradesman named Potter, and the soul of Dorn Greycastle, who came from another world, looking for the path either to returning to life or to find death. Not really clear. Garble is a mushroom folk rogue far traveler. Garble is seeking a home for his people, has found pretty much where it should be, except knowing that the twisting of the ley lines and the strange manipulation of the Weird Weaver, that all needs to be solved before they're going to be able to bring their people there. We have Mez Roomseleth, fighter parfumier, who is the caretaker for Dorn, or for Potter anyway, which hasn't been going particularly well, and seeks to kind of restore the paths of the dead, follow the paths of the dead, which are now all over the place. They found the river Styx, the tributary of the river Styx, known as the Black River below, and that has definitely been they've definitely noticed that path has not been going well and that it needs to be solved. We have Sister Malarkey Jones, a tiefling warlock cleric, follower of the Weird Weaver, who again seeks to restore the path of the Weird Weaver, and Skrink Skibbers, a ratfolk wizard occultist who was sacrificed to summon the Shoggoth, which I think we learned last time. So we have neat stuff. Going on there. Hey, my mom is here. Hi, Mom. So our strong start today is facing Gellert. That's pretty straightforward in the Temple of the Weird Weaver. I don't think we need to do a lot of prep for this. So the only thing is, like, there are two floating icosahedrons that the characters recovered. Could they tap into that somehow? Could they essentially draw luck from it? That might be kind of fun. Like, what if it's like a DC 15 Arcana or Religion to call upon the icosahedrons, have them pop open, and little tiny bits of luck, which form into these celestial D20s, come rolling out, and characters can grab them and essentially get 3 luck points from them. If they grab them, they grab the 3 luck points, then they can use them to kind of re-roll. That might be a fun way. If they fail on the check, though, it's possible Gellert can use them, and he can grab these luck points as well. So I think that might be, that might be kind of fun. I might enjoy that. As far as scenes go, so we're gonna have Gellert, face off against Gellert. We have probably recovery at Red Tower. We have probably returning to the Scarlet Citadel. And I think the only remaining anchor on level 5 is the Shoggoth. Now, there could be some path. I'm kind of getting tired of all these big bosses that they're facing, everything like that. And then descend into level 6. And then close the rift and save the day. And 1 year later. So we have a nice, what's the final part of this campaign going to be like? This is where the yam-shaped adventure narrows down. And I'm pretty happy that it's going to narrow down at this point. So secrets and clues. Gellert built the icosahedrons as a way to tap into the power of the Weird Weaver and, quote, make his own luck. That is one secret. What are some other secrets? Gellert, I don't need to link to him every time. Gellert tore open, Gellert using the last icosahedron, tore open a rift to the dark beyond, to the void. It's growing. It was a tiny pinprick just a few days ago and is now growing much larger, much faster. It will be in a matter of a week or so, the rift will overtake the entire Crossroads region. The good news is that it will be quick. The people of Red Tower will hardly feel a thing. The characters probably have 1 to 2 days to deal with this before the rift becomes too big to manage. I want to offer myself a little bit of a dial on here. So what could Gellert have done to kind of slow its growth, mostly so he could get out? Did he leave something there? Yeah, Gellert left the final icosahedron, right? Left the final icosahedron at the site of the rift to help it so it could slow down the progression enough for him to get the hell out. Any other secrets? 1, 2, 3. We got 6 secrets so far, 4 more secrets that they could potentially learn. I think one secret is that the final icosahedron doesn't really exist. It's a placebo. The real icosahedron resides within Bart and has all along. This isn't great because Bart's not there. The player that's playing Bart is not there, so this is probably not going to come up this session. Do we have any? Let's see. The Shoggoth is the final anchor for the 3rd icosahedron. The icosahedron itself is protected by the spiders of Ling. So what would the spiders want? If the spiders become aware that the icosahedron, or that the rift is growing, they'll take the 3rd icosahedron back with them to the twisted plateau of Ling. We tried to look up some information about Ling last time. Let's take a look at some of our notes for that, because I remember we were looking at Ling. In the lost sands of the Dragon Empire to the north, some say it reaches and touches to the realms beyond. The spider of Ling rule 1,000 thralls whose minds have been twisted. Yeah. So we have these information about Ling, because Ling is a thing from Lovecraft lore that has made its way into Midgard, which I kind of dig, but I don't know enough about it. But we'll grab those 3 secrets anyway, throw them in there. So I got plenty of secrets. That's pretty straightforward. Fantastic locations, I don't really need to do because they're in the book. So I'm not going to worry about that. NPCs, we have the Shoggoth. We no longer have the chain thing, so I can pop this out of current, and it disappears. We have the Thoas Nightcaster and Last Bascalag are a couple. So these are all right. I don't think we want to add our friend that we were just looking at. Well, so we have Clara. She's still around. That might be interesting. We have Timon. Did I add Clara to current? I did. Okay. So we got a couple of other NPCs around town. There is also Brynjar, Loki touched. He is now good friends with the mayor, Winslow Braz. I think that would be a fun bit of what's going on in Red Tower. Enthralled? I can't remember the dude's name. I just wrote it down. Wislaw. Brynjar / Loki. Let's take over Red Tower and make it his own personal playground. That's fun. The characters, I don't even know what level they are. I couldn't even tell you. Let's see. I think they got to be higher than 6th level. I think they're at least 7th level now. I really hope so. And I think they'll get a level if they defeat Gellert. Like, that seems like a reasonable... Well, I don't know. No, they're definitely going to get to 8th level the minute they get one of the next icosahedron. So I think they're 7th level now. And so the benchmark, there are 4 or 5 of them. So the benchmark is either 14 or 7 times 5 divided by 2 is 17. 14 or 17 is the deadly benchmark. With a max, if they're 7th, then about a 10th or 11th is the maximum for any one monster. I tell you, it's really easy, man. You get that encounter benchmark in your head. It is really easy to figure out exactly what the maximum cap is on the kind of things that you can throw. So we have deep ones, Lesser Scrag, perhaps. Deep one, High Priest, yes. Water Leaper, Sipakati are those alligator things. The Drowned Maiden, I don't remember the Drowned Maiden comes up. We no longer need to worry about the chain thing, so we can pull the chain thing from our holding pattern. Death Wisps, Greater Scrags, Spider of Ling, Deep One, Archimantry, right? Ghostwalk, and the Lesser Shoggoth. The Lesser Shoggoth was something we were looking at. That's a CR 12. But what about Gellert? What is Gellert? I think, is he an Archmage? So let's take a look at the book and see what Gellert is. We might as well start with what we paid for, and then we can change it as we go. Gellert the Gruesome is challenge rating 11. According to he has a dedicated stat block. He wears a brooch of shielding, a cloak of protection. Does he have any other? This is probably good. We can throw this in our treasure. 88 hit points, AC 15, CR 11. Gellert has advantage on saving throws. Dragon Wings. He can sprout black dragon wings and gains a fly speed of 30. Those are kind of cool. Empowered spells. When he rolls damage for a spell, he can re-roll up to 5 dice. That sounds boring. Heightened spells causes the target. So he's like a sorcerer type. Leyline Acclamation. The spellcasting other doesn't trigger chaos magic or wild magic surges. Spells that have a casting time of 1 action can be cast as a bonus action. He is still limited to 1 casting per turn. 16th level is his spellcasting area, is his spellcaster trait. Glimpse of the Void sounds cool. Prismatic Spray. Gee, like, look at that. If you Prismatic Sprays, you're just going to put everybody in the ground. Unquiet Dagger. Does psychic damage. Does 5 piercing damage plus 10 psychic damage. That is a lot. The Unquiet Dagger. I kind of like this. This is kind of a cool thing that he's got. I don't know about the Frightened. We're not going to do Frightened. As a piece of treasure, we could say that once per day, the creature attuned to the Unquiet Dagger can activate it. Once per day, as a bonus action, the psychic screams of the dagger. For 1 minute, the dagger inflicts an extra 10 3d6 psychic damage. That's a lot. That's a lot of psychic damage. I mean, that makes it's stronger. It is a dagger, so that's okay. It's lower damage because it's a dagger. It is 3d6 is a lot. That's stronger than it's stronger than what is it called? The flame sword thing, a flame tongue sword. But the flame tongue sword can do it all the time. This only does it for 1 battle per day. I think this is fine. And to say like it doesn't have a plus bonus, I think is pretty good. So I think that's okay. It's a little strong, but we're at the end of the campaign. And I don't think it returns. So like you have to go, if you throw it, you have to go get it again. So that's cool. But I think we're going to redo because like these spells are nutty. He is legendary, but I think we're basically just going to give him legendary resistance instead of worrying about legendary. So we're going to make our own Gellert the Gruesome. So we're going to, go here. And CR wise, we decide, so what makes sense? The idea is like CR 12 kind of makes sense. That makes him pretty tough compared to the characters. He is a humanoid. His AC, so he would be using like the equivalent of mage armor stuff, probably 15. And he probably has the use of shield. Hit points, so we're going to use Forge of Foes for this. Let's go get our Forge of Foes. Go dig up our Forge of Foes book here. Forge of Foes is available for pre-order right now. You can go to Sly Flourish. Here's how you get it. Go to slyflourish.com. Click that Forge of Foes icon in the upper right. It takes you to the backer kit page, but you can add it right now. You can add the hardcover and or PDF. And every morning, I think, certainly every weekday morning, we lock in the orders, which means you will get your copy of the PDF within a day or two of ordering it. If you're seeing this during the weekday, we do it every weekday. So you can get your own PDF copy right away, and then you'll get the physical version when everybody else does. So it's the pre-order on the page. Check it out. Link in the show notes. And you can get this table. So we decided that CR12, so hit points are going to be 175. Initiative, we'll do 2. Initiative roll is 12. Legendary, yes. Source is Forge of Foes. Page number, don't worry about. Condition, no. Damage, no. So, okay, those are all set. And stat-wise, so let's see. Gellert the Gruesome, AC 15. Hit points, we said 175, right? What else do we need? So proficiency, like the skills in which Gellert is ultimately proficient is +9. So the things he's really good at are +9. That includes his attacks. His DPR, his damage per round maximum, we said 12 is 77. 4 attacks at 19. +9, 19 damage. So that's his baseline stats. I forget, is there anything else we need? I don't think so. 12. Equipment character level is 18. AC is 17. So we'll bump it. Well, no, because he's going to have shield, so his average will be 17. 175 hit points, +9 to hit, 77. Yeah, so that's really all we need. And then we could say like there's certain things, like if we wanted to get, I mean, right now I'm ready to go, right? And I can just reflavor those attacks. But I think I like his idea of like a void ball. DC is 17, and it will inflict 24 points. So 28 is a fireball, which is a little strong, but I think that's okay. He has his, what did we call the dagger? The Unquiet Dagger. +9 to hit, and it does 9 piercing. And we're going to say it does less piercing, right? So it's a D4, but it like adds his charisma bonus to it, which is like a 5. So 9 sounds right. +10 psychic. That's good. Void spears. These are like his ranged attack. And these are for 19 force. I like to do 1d6 plus 16. That works. That's nice. And those he can do at range, or he can do those at range, or he can do them local close. But his close, he's probably going to go attack with the Unquiet Dagger. Attacks. Gellert makes 4 Unquiet. Let me see. He can make 2 and 2 Void Spear, or 4 Void Spear attacks. He can replace 3 of these attacks with a Void Ball. We'll call it Void Rift. Reaction, shield, Void Shield. That's pretty straightforward. Is there anything else we want to give him? I don't think so. Like, I don't think he needs a damage shield. He's going to be pouring it out. He does have resistance, legendary resistance. And these are tiny little void spheres. 3 tiny little void spheres falling over his head, and each time he uses legendary resistance, one of them disappears. That looks good to me. I'm pretty happy with that. We can get rid of the DPR. We don't really need it. We can get rid of that. We're not going to worry about his saves. Let's see. He sucks at strength and dex. He's okay at con. He's good. Probably he's okay at con and wisdom. And he's great at charisma and intelligence. So we'll give him a +6 on con and wiz, and a +0 on strength and dex, and a +9 on in charisma. Sometimes you don't really have to worry about doing, like, you can improvise these. It's heresy to some, but don't worry about it. So that's a pretty strong, quick stat block for Gellert the Gruesome. CR 12 Void Mage. Arch. Is he an Arch Void Mage? I mean, Archmage is CR 12. That works. I think he'll be pretty strong. So in the assumption he hits 2 Void Rifts. Yeah, Archmage of the Void. That's pretty good. This Void Rift damage. So 19, what's 19 times 2? Is 38? Do I have that right? 38. So I think this is actually going to do more. 38 points of Void damage. Or subtract 3 from that. 35. 1d6 plus 35. 35 points of Void damage on 2 targets. 3 targets? He's a big boss. We're going to do 3 targets, but he can only do... Void Rift is a full action. So, yeah, that'll be the only thing he can do that round. So I think that's pretty good. Okay. And we definitely want to have... So Gellert is in the Scarlet Citadel holding pattern. So we've got Gellert the Gruesome there. Cool. All right, so we've got our NPCs. We've got a big pile of secrets. We got scenes. We got secrets and clues. We've got everything else here that we need. Treasure. They could find his treasure hoard. So let's go to a... Maybe for fun, let's do a tier 3 treasure hoard. He's tier 3. Look at this. 162,000 gold pieces. I mean, that'd be his entire kingdom, right? That's pretty great. I kind of like this one. This hoard, it's huge. 1,000, a whole pile of 1,000 gold piece gems. 11,000 in just gemstones. Hewer's handy spice pouch. Instrument of illusions. Potions of healing. Spell scrolls. Protection from energy. Potion of resistance acid. A bag of holding and a ring of swimming on top of his other stuff. I think that's pretty good. And then I like the idea that he has 158,841 gold, mix of gold and platinum in his bag of holding. Because he's on his way out. He completely raided all of the treasury of Scarlet Citadel and took it with him. Makes sense, right? Oh, he does have a cloak of protection and the brooch of shielding. So that's probably worth noting. He's probably a 16 AC because of the cloak of protection. And his saves are a little touch up. So he's like +1. We'll keep that at +6 and +10 on charisma and saves. Yeah, cool. All right, and the idea is he raided the entire thing. So like they defeat him and they survive, they get 158,000 gold plus another 110, another 11,000 gold, and a bunch of magic items. And I like the idea that he keeps it all in a tiny little purse that he hangs around his neck. I think that's pretty good. I think we are in a good spot. I feel pretty good about today's game. Why don't we take a little bit of time to look through level 6, the Howling Halls, and to see like what they do as they go down there. So there's a lot of words, as I've complained about before. A huge wind that's blowing through the halls. There's an elemental influence that's going on here. Each area of level 6 has dominant element that affects damage dealt in those areas. The dominated elemental influence in each area is indicated by the background color of the map. There's multiple ley lines pass through the region. And the outrushing river flows into each other. Merging of magical current causes tremendous turbulence. 50-50 chance. Let's see. So every time a magical effect is invoked, other than the simple bonus to hit or damage, when attacking with a magic weapon, 50-50 chance it triggers a collateral effect. Roll any die. An odd result, a random effect occurs. Roll 100 and consult the Chaos Magic Surge table from Deep Magic. Oh, interesting. Let's take a look at that. It said, what? From the Chaos Magic. All right, let's look for Chaos Magic. There's Chaos Magic. Whoops. What did I just do? Look for Chaos Magic. That's a pretty good Gellert the Gruesome, right? In his full, I like that picture. We're going to save that. Here we go. Page 193. Where do I stick this? I don't know where to put it. I'll just stick it here. This looks like it's got lots of cool things going on in here. Your eyes turn into potatoes and fall from the sockets. Your teeth turn into moths and fly away. You sprout insect wings, giving you a flying speed of 30 feet. It's like Ant-Man. That's cool. I dig it. So typical things don't, but any kind of major effect, that's fine. Salt Storm, what does the level itself look like? So we don't know what direction they're coming at. There are, looks like, how many chambers? 14 total chambers in this section. Swirling salt, and there is a salt golem, salt mines, salt devils. If you stay there for too long, you get ripped apart by flying sands. A maelstrom door. That's in 6. Crazy winds. And there's controls that seem to one mistake in this situation could result in irrevocable death for one or more of the characters. It might not be instant. The characters might have a chance or two for rescue, but the odds are dismal. What's worse is the one who makes a mistake is not the one to die. That's interesting. So it's about the combination of sealing this thing up, which stops the winds. And I guess that's 607. The doors are 607 and 604. And the wrong combination can create windstorms that will blow people into the sphere of annihilation. I think that's the idea. And then there's ice elementals, rime worms. I don't know how much of this I want to do. I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of ready to be done. But a death trap does not seem completely wrong to me. And there's a genie down here, right? To destroy the sphere of annihilation, characters need courage, resources, a fair bit of luck. Show the players the point of view illustration. There's a big void. Sphere of Annihilation itself, 10-foot sphere, much larger than standard. Other than that, sphere that's lightning bolts that blasts. If a bolt strikes an area, you can choose to have it generate a fragrite. Can't be moved with mental commands. There's a voidling. The voidling has 2 important differences. Immune to force damage. So how exactly do you destroy this? Unless the characters have access to a gate spell or portable hole, which is unlikely, they can't harm the sphere of annihilation directly. They can attack the voidling even if they can't see it. When the voidling is destroyed, the sphere of annihilation collapses into itself. Okay, so there's a creature and you fight the creature and you kill it and it dies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to play this by ear. They're not going to get there today, but I want to think about one of the things I need to keep in the back of my mind. The idea of fighting the voidling is cool. The idea that you have a sphere of annihilation that's fighting back is cool. But what could destroy it? Well, you could throw all 4 of the icosahedrons in there. That might be an option. Would you be willing to destroy the Void Weaver? Not the Void Weaver, the Weird Weaver. But destroying the Weird Weaver actually doesn't end chaos. It means the Weird Weaver's everywhere. But it's still, the entity of the Weird Weaver at that point is gone. That would be kind of interesting. What else? One of the characters could sacrifice themselves and hurl themselves into the void. Would that stop it? I mean, why would that do it? I don't know. But I like the idea of sacrifice as a method, but I don't know exactly why that would stop it. So what is this thing? It is an open rift to the void. It is a huge sphere of annihilation. It destroys anything that goes inside irrevocably. It is growing. It is getting bigger. It is caused because the ley lines are all fed here. So somebody who can get in there and unravel the ley lines and separate them, what would they need to do that? Big pair of scissors. Inside the void is the nexus by which all of the ley lines are drawn into what do they call that? Into an event horizon. If you can go in there and attack it with a magic sword, you can sever it, but you and everything else will be gone. The rift will be closed. So somebody could sever the connection. Somebody could sever the connection to the rift that's to the ley lines, and that will snap the ley lines back in place. That can work, but somebody has to go in and do it. The other one would be taking all of the sphere, all of the spheres, they combine together into one massive 100-sided die. You hurl that in there. The void, the Weird Weaver will be destroyed as an entity, but it will close the rift. So you can either sacrifice the Weird Weaver or sacrifice one of you. That seems like a pretty good one. And they have to fight this thing in order to figure out how that's going on. I think that makes sense. And otherwise, they might go around here. There's also a genie. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what I'm gonna. We'll figure that out when I get closer. But that gives me a general idea of what's going on here. So I kind of dig that. Friends, I think we are all set for today's game. I've got all my notes together. I've got a good idea of where things are going to start. I think there's going to be a lot of fun with this conversation with Geleth the Gruesome. So I think things are all good. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this show and you want more of my stuff from Sly Flourish, please consider subscribing to the Sly Flourish newsletter. It's absolutely free to sign up. You get a weekly RPG-related email, and you get a free adventure generator just for signing up. You can also support me directly on Patreon. Patrons get access to the City of Arches source book, Uncovered Secrets Volume 1 and 2, all kinds of different stuff for supporting me on Patreon. Or you can pick up any of my books, including Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master, the Lazy DM's Workbook, the Lazy DM's Companion, or you can pre-order Forge of Foes. All the links for that are in the show notes below. Thank you all so much. Have a great day, and get out there and play a role-playing game.